YouTube has decided to not share my videos with everyone who subscribes. Please follow me on social media to stay up to date. Now, I want to jump over to another story here that I heard about the other day about why Colin Trevorrow was fired from Star Wars Episode 9. This, again, is probably all rumor and speculation. We've been hearing about this for quite some time, but it's always interesting to kind of see what happened. There's been plenty of rumors that have kind of fluctuated over there. He was hard to work with. This coming off of, how he was in regards to Jurassic World, and it was just kind of a tyrant on set sort of thing. I've heard those rumors. There's the comments about how the Book of Henry crashed and burned, and as a result of that, he just it just kind of diminished faith in him. There's all of these little things that have gone around over a while now. So let's get an idea here. Now, it says here, it's no secret that behind the scenes, the last few Lucasfilms movies have undergone some serious issues. The Force Awakens underwent fairly extensive reshoots. Rogue One found its entire third act reworked and reshot by a different director. And Solo's A Star Wars Story had its directors fired during production and replaced by Ron Howard. I don't quite know if the Rogue One is entirely accurate. I know Tony Gilroy was on set to help out quite a bit with rewrites, but I don't know if he reshoot. I know he reworked it, but I don't know if he reshot it. I could be wrong on that one, but I think that sounds new to me. The drama streak continued with episode 9, for which Jurassic World and Safety Not Guaranteed filmmaker Colin Trevorrow was hired to write and direct. Trevorrow spent 2 years on the project, but in September 2017, he was unceremoniously removed from the film and replaced with J.J. Abrams. This came in the wake of Phil Lord and Chris Miller being fired off Solo, and it very much appeared as though Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy was trying to avoid a similar situation owing to creative disagreements where she got in too deep and with the film with the wrong fit behind the camera. Well, okay. Look, I've been heavily critical of Kathleen Kennedy for a while now, and I think the buck still stops with her. Now, with Phil Lord and Chris Miller in regards to Solo, we get it. We get it. There was, based upon what we've heard about the multiple setups, the multiple angles, the multiple takes, trying to, work the script in a more comedic fashion and not be the right fit, that I understand. But if Trevorrow had come in to do episode 9 and he'd worked on it for 2 years, that would say that he probably was working on it while they were in post-production for The Force Awakens, leading into its release, which means that he would be in heavy conversation with J.J. Abrams for how to work the story in order to bring about the end of the Skywalker saga. And I have a feeling, due to the fact that Rian Johnson was basically given carte blanche to do whatever the hell it is he wanted, we all know how that turned out, I think that was part of the problem. I do think that's part of the problem. Now, let's see, I haven't read this article yet, so I don't know what's being said, so let's look at this together. Now, but what exactly happened? Why was Trevorrow fired? A new report in the Wall Street Journal sheds a bit of light on the ordeal, noting that Trevorrow successfully pitched his idea for Episode 9 to Kennedy, Disney President Alan Horn, and Disney CEO Bob Iger. But the Wall Street Journal says that once Trevorrow and his frequent collaborator Derek Connolly got to work on the script, Kennedy was unhappy with the drafts he was submitting. Lucasfilm hired Harry Potter and the Cursed Child writer Jack Thorne to take a stab at Episode 9 in 2017, but both Kennedy and Trevorrow were unhappy how that draft turned out as well. Yeah, because Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is, come on, it wasn't very good. But the thing is, though, what exactly about the drafts were not working? What exactly about the drafts were not up to snuff? Is it because he was trying to fight back against the changes that Rian Johnson has made? I would argue that would be a part of it. Because Trevorrow, coming off of Safety Not Guaranteed, which was a very fantastic independent film, I saw it opening weekend when it dropped, I think in 2012, and I really liked it. And then going over to be basically mentored by Spielberg, right, for Jurassic World, making that a $1.5 billion movie. Then him getting brought over to Star Wars, where he's then collaborating with J.J. Abrams, another of Spielberg's, kind of Padawans, so to speak. And those two probably would be bouncing off each other. And then here comes little hobbit-looking Rian Johnson, right? Little hobbit-looking Rian Johnson to come on out and go like, no, I'm going to kill off Luke Skywalker because of reasons. That's what I think. That's my interpretation of what happened. Like, you have two guys that I think were in mesh with one another. I think the drafts they were working on were in line with what originally J.J. Abrams had pitched for episodes 7, 8, 9. I think Trevorrow was falling in line with that. I think he was adapting what he wanted or trying to adapt it based upon how Johnson changed up episode 8. And I think Kathleen Kennedy just backed Johnson. For some freaking reason, I still can't figure out why. That, you know, there would be the backing of a filmmaker who only had 2 feature films to his name before any of this, and neither one of those had gone on to gross exceptionally high amounts of money. So I just don't get it. I don't get it. And as a result, we've seen the Star Wars franchise diminished returns time and time again. Now, granted, the movies have all grossed over $1 billion, and rightfully so in many cases. It's still a situation where that question comes up. That question gets brought up quite a bit. Now, after the Thorn draft, Trevorrow reportedly wanted to take another stab at the script himself, but instead, Kennedy decided to fire Trevorrow and move on. Rumors have swirled that Trevorrow's major point of disagreement with Kennedy was that he wanted to keep Luke Skywalker alive, thus altering The Last Jedi, but the source of these rumors is simply a fan on the internet theorizing. Indeed, that particular sticking point seems unlikely, and more often than not on projects like this, it's not like one story point that leads to someone leaving the project. It's a series of disagreements. Well, the disagreement might have been over what to do with that particular character. It might have been over the whole idea of like, no, you let this guy come in here and kill off Luke Skywalker for no real reason other than to make him a legend. I get he was already a legend. You just wanted to prove the legend once again. This is the thing I don't understand. There's like very few people that were on Crate. You know what I mean? It wasn't like it was broadcast in front of the entire freaking universe. It was like 20 dudes in a freaking like Wookiee. You know, it wasn't like a lot of people were going to see what happened. But then, of course, that story then made its way through the galaxy like faster than anything else, you know, faster than like Leia riding bareback on Jabba. Who knows? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I really do think it had to do with the story here. No, I mean, yes, but that led to a series of disagreements about how to go forward with the script. And I think that's quite a bit of it. Now, as we know now, J.J. Abrams was subsequently hired to direct and co-write the script in the wake of Trevorrow's exit. Oscar-winning Argo and Batman v Superman scribe Chris Terrio along with him, but Abrams was not the first filmmaker Kennedy approached. So apparently she had approached Rian Johnson to direct episode 9, which I don't think I would have gone and seen it. If I'm being honest here, I don't think I would have gone and seen it opening. I know I probably would have because it's me and Star Wars, but I would have gone in under protest. Like, I'm giving you my money so I can be angry. But the Wall Street Journal notes that there were no serious discussions, as Johnson wasn't eager to start chasing a release date. And as we now know, he's working on his own new Star Wars trilogy on his own time. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was already established. They just need to take it further. And I think Johnson probably might have had a cheaper payday. I think so. It might have been cheaper. And they said, well, you know, he'll do what we say. Like, my biggest problem with Johnson is that there's a Star Wars story group, which we will be exploring in the Star Wars book club channel that I'm putting together. And those guys kind of ignored everything with this, and he kind of ignored everything with that. It feels like, at least. And as a result of that, there's been these problems. So speaking with the Wall Street Journal, Abrams admitted he had already formulated ideas for episode 9, but never thought he'd get to see them through, saying, I had a bunch of ideas from the beginning, back on 7, of where the story would go. I just never in my wildest dreams thought I would have a chance to execute them. Well, you're missing the middle part of the story, so you have to recalibrate how you wanted episode 9 to end, how you wanted the Skywalker saga to ultimately end, and then go back and make it work. It's one of those things that to me is very interesting to see what J.J. Abrams is going to be able to come up with. So looking at this whole idea here with Colin Trevorrow being fired, them basically it does feel like Collider and Adam Chitwood here. And I do feel like they're very much, they don't want to anger the hand that feeds them, so to speak. They're kind of glossing over, oh, well, it's not just a story decision. It was a series of disagreements. Yeah, over the story. I mean, going through all of the plot holes of episode 7 is one thing, and going like, okay, there's plot holes here, but you can kind of understand to an extent. Looking at all the plot decisions and the narrative points that went wrong in The Last Jedi are just like, this should have never made it past the scripting phase. Canto Bight should have never made it past the scripting phase. They should have looked at that and been like, are you sure you want to go off on a 30-minute side adventure just so you can basically slap the audience in the face with a message line about animal cruelty? Is this where you want to go, Rian Johnson? Is this where you want to go spend millions and millions of dollars building a set in order just to basically act as a surrogate for PETA? Is this where you want to go, sir? And of course, they let him do it. And of course, we have it now, and it's part of canon, and nothing I can do. There's even a book about Canto Bight, by the way. There's a book about Canto Bight. I'm getting Just getting ahead of myself here. Just getting ahead of myself. I'm just saying.